Success transcends cities. As one of the world's most respected business leaders, I know what it takes. Join me now as I sit down with fellow leaders and we share our insights into how you can be successful. My name is Jeffrey Hayzlett, and this is All Business.
The media landscape is constantly evolving. As new technologies and platforms change how we consume content, you need to adapt, change, or die, or you won't be watching, listening, or reading any of it. I'm excited to be speaking today to a true visionary in the world of television and a master of adaptation and innovation. You may know my next guest as the executive producer and host of one of the original reality television shows, Cheaters, or through his innovations in live camera and docuseries, or maybe from his newest adventure, To the Rescue, where he is on a mission to help others. My guest today is Tommy Habeeb. Tommy is a powerhouse TV personality known for his bold charisma, sharp wit, and unwavering passion for storytelling. Tommy is here today to share his evolution in television and his unique perspective on the ever-evolving television landscape. Tommy, welcome to All Business with Jeffrey Hayzlett. Hey, Tommy, I know that they always say that Mark Burnett is like the creator of the modern day reality show, but I'm going to put my money on you. Didn't you have the very first one?
Well, thanks, Jeff. I appreciate that. And, you know, it's kind of funny because the TV Guide back in 1999, they said Cheaters and Survivor, who's going to be the first reality show to hit the air? And actually, we beat them. So we actually aired first. It's been an arm wrestling competition. Listen, Mark Burnett's been very, very successful, but I need to knock him down off that high horse for a minute.
Well, he's way up on top, and he's had some real winners, just like you have. So you can't knock him off too much. It'll be a hard fight. But can you tell me a little bit about your journey into the world of television? Because you've been around both on what we call the new streaming stuff, but also on the old broadcast stuff, which is still around and still what we call television today. So how did you first become involved in the world of reality television?
Oh my gosh. I've been on TV for over 4 decades. It's kind of scary because all of a sudden it's aging us a bit. But and we're right now in the middle of an actors strike. And I was at the first actors strike in 1980. I was walking the picket line. So I was over at CBS television. And I was walking the picket lines with Mary Tyler Moore and all my friends from WKRP. Actually, I was a 19-year-old kid. So they kind of took me in under their wings. And I didn't really understand, I was just happy to be there. I was on the lot of working actors. So I was just soaking it all up. And it didn't matter if I was getting paid anything, because at 19, I just wanted to be an actor. So that's when I started out. And really my life changed when Dick Clark saw me doing stand-up. I was actually hosting a show. And Dick Clark changed my life. He came up to me after the show and said, "Hey, kid, I got something for you. Come see me." And he gave me the gift of understanding the business of the entertainment business, right? So he taught me about using celebrity to drive business and launching products. And really that's because of him I've survived all these years. But then many years later, in 1999, I launched Cheaters. I was kind of the architect of that. And that's when reality kind of hit. Although we didn't understand we were doing a thing called reality. I was making a show. I didn't know what it was going to be. And until we finished that first episode, and I went, oh my gosh, this is the craziest thing I've ever seen. And I don't know if anybody's going to want to watch it, but it's pretty shocking.
Well, I got to tell you, before we get to Cheaters, I got to ask you about WKRP. Were you involved at all with that turkey incident, that one episode where they were throwing turkeys out of a helicopter? I hope not, at least.
No, oh boy, that was a classic. I sure wish I had been. I would have been known much bigger than today.
Yeah. The great line was, "Oh, the humanity, as I recall." But, you mentioned you started in 1999, at least with the show Cheaters, and that's what you're best known for. I think now you've got this great new show, which we'll talk about in a few minutes, and that seems to be a real icing on the cake. But but that was known for its controversial content. I'm talking about Cheaters. What inspired you to take this on?
Well, listen, I have an actor's mentality, right? I'm always looking for work and trying to get stuff done. And back then, so most of my friends are athletes. And actually, when Dick Clark gave me the tools, he gave me a TV show, a music show that I hosted. But then after that ended, he taught me about syndicated television and that distribution and using celebrity and how to get sponsors and advertisers. So I was doing a lot of sports stuff because all my friends were athletes. And one of my first calls was to Magic Johnson and Spud Webb and those guys. And I started doing getting the biggest stars in the world from sports and creating television around it. But that was by fluke. I was in Dallas. I went from LA to New York, and on my way back to LA, I stopped in Texas because this is where I'm originally from. And I said, well, let me work on some things. I started creating some shows here. And then that's when Cheaters came about. And, it was really, and I think I'm going down the path of the question you asked me, but you're right. It's been such an institution of mine. And when you give birth to something, it's your baby. So, and everywhere in the world I go, literally everywhere in the world, everybody knows Cheaters. I was hosting the Miss World pageant in Kaliningrad, Russia with Florence Henderson, right? And we're walking down the street and it's all gray. There's like a hotel that was modernized in a mall, right? Everything else, those were the only two westernized things there. But we're walking down the street and people are running over Cheaters. And they given Florence the camera so she can take a picture. She goes, what the hell here? I'm America's mom. Doesn't anybody care? They're all care about Cheaters. It's pretty crazy. And it's actually a lot of fun.
Did you ever expect it to become such a phenomenon, the cultural phenomenon that it became? And it's really started to change the real scope of reality TV.
Yeah, I never would have imagined in a million years. I remember I knew the importance of press. So I finished the first episode and my friend was, remember back then we didn't have social media. All we had were like National Enquirer, Star Magazine, these kind of rags at the grocery stores. So I sent my buddy that was the editor at Star Magazine in Chicago, I sent him a VHS tape overnight. Well, literally, he got it at 8 a.m. By 9, he's on the phone with me. He's going, I said, listen, can I just get a paragraph? I need a little press to bump this thing up. We're about to roll it out. He goes, I've never seen anything like this. I'm on a plane. I'll be there tomorrow morning. I want to go to a bust. I went, really? I knew it was pretty shocking. And ever since, he gave me 2 pages in Star because it was so crazy. And ever since then, I was on every talk show in the country, throughout magazines. It just went nuts. I never would have imagined it.
Well, you always talk to me about the fact that when you walk into a room, a lot of times people leave the room, men and women, because they think you've got a camera and you might be coming for them. Now, reality television can often blur the line between scripted content and authentic moments, and you've had a lot of those. How do you maintain the balance between entertainment and authenticity in some of these shows?
Well, it's a dance, I got to tell you. And back in 2000, I did so many interviews with people going, what's the future of television? Are we all going to go reality because it's cheaper to make? And, what I predicted, and it's kind of been happening, is that reality, it's going to become a hybrid, right, of scripted and reality. And those lines are blurred, and they are today. There's so many shows that, and in reality and in television, as you guys understand, you have a certain amount of time you got to produce an episode. If you don't, it costs too much money. So there is some producing that has to happen. But in reality, you try to be as authentic as you can. You try not to put too many words in their mouth, but you just lead them down the path that you want them to go to. And it's pretty fascinating. And, it's become an art form. And today I've had multiple meetings with networks, and because of all the streaming and those things, and the networks haven't figured out how to really monetize it and make money, the way they believed, and they spent too much money. Well, they came, I've had multiple meetings, like I said, and they came to me and said, Tommy, we are cutting out 80% of our scripted. We're going to docuseries, which is great for me because that's what we specialize in. Because we can do it cheaper, and you get the same ratings. So you're going to see a big shift happening in that docuseries world, and you already have, anybody that on any platform.
Yeah, but even these shows that we say are scripted, they're not really scripted. I see them as being set up. You set up the situation, right? So that people can be themselves and go through it. Now, in a lot of my shows in the past, say the ones I've done on Bloomberg with my series, The C-Suite with Jeffrey Hayzlett, my producer might ask me to ask the same question 3 different ways, 3 different phrasings, so we can try to get a different reaction from the person, or, make it seem like it's less scripted and more, like real. Do you see more of that going to happen for the future?
There's no question, but Jeff, I didn't think that about you. You're so perfect. Every question that comes out of your mouth is like gold. Nobody's going to put questions in your mouth.
Oh, man, we all mess up. You know that. We all mess up, and we all don't look this good on TV, right?
Come on now. It's funny, but yes. So there are producers. You got story producers, you got your line producers, you got your executive producers, and everybody's throwing their input in. But those story producers are so key because they help keep that line, that through line going, and they will kind of tell you, on all shows, they go, well, let's try that again. You know what I mean? Because we're taped, and why not get the perfect response? So that's where those lines really get blurred between scripted and reality. But I think a lot of America, they don't, they know it, but they get involved. This is the new soap opera, right? We did soaps back in the 80s, but this is the new soaps, the housewives. And, I'm working on several right now we're excited about, and which we're, it's going to be pretty fascinating.